Hey everybody, Miss Marsh here. So we're going to go over day 3A in just like a short little video. Try to keep it short. Okay, so I'm going to try and focus on the harder parts of this assignment. Okay, so the first part is we're looking at savings. And first part I think is pretty easy. How much will you have saved in 4 months if you were saving $50 a month? Right? That's just going to be, okay, 50 times 4. So 200. Okay. I'm going to leave number 2 to you. Number 3 is looking at it backwards. You want to save $1,225. How long is it going to take you in order to afford that? You could go backwards and divide by 50 to see the number of months. Okay. We can go, okay, how much is $1,225 divided by $50? But you want to, let's see, so that gives us a decimal. But you're not going to be doing half a month. You're saving $50 a month. So you want to round it up to 25 months. Okay, and if you want it in a shorter time, 7 months, you need to figure out how much you want to save. So you're going to have to do 1225 divided by the number of months, and then that's going to give you how much per month you need to save. Okay. The next thing you're going to do on the quiz is, I'm not going to do this part for you. You guys can do this part. You are going to watch the video that's embedded in the quiz, and you are going to answer the 3 questions based off of watching the video. Okay. So I'm going to leave you guys to do that part on your own. And then the next, so that goes into the 50-30-20 rule. Okay. So the 50-30-20 rule is this idea that you should be like doing 50% of your budgeting should be on needs. 30% should be on wants. And 20% should be saving and debt repayment. Okay, so you have to think about, like, what kinds of items do you think would be needs? What would be wants and what would be saving and debt retirement? So are you doing like an investment account? Are you doing paying off a credit card would be debt repayment? Student loans. So it's a future look at yourself. Imagine yourself as a 25-year-old, okay? So there's the 50-30-20 rule broken down for you a little bit more. Okay, 50% on needs, 20% on savings, 30% on wants. Okay, so it says if you have after-tax income of $2,000 a month, how much would you put in each category? You're just going to do some basic percentages. What's 50% of 2,000? What's 30% of 2,000? What's 20% of 2,000? Okay, you guys know how to do that. Just use your calculator if you need to. Okay, then you're going to think about, okay, what category would be wants and needs? So headphones, is that wants? I think that is wants. Minimum monthly payment on a student loan, that's debt repayment. So that's savings, debt repayment. And then I'll let you go through the rest of them. Okay, wireless headphones are great. Those are things you want, but you don't need, right? So think about an electric bill, gym membership, extra payment towards the credit card to pay it off faster. Do you need to do that? Well, that's debt repayment, okay. Concert tickets, things like that. So classify them. All right, so then the next section of this, it says the average household of the U.S. takes in about $4,362 per month. Assume that the household follows the 50-30-20 rule, then splits their savings portion equally among paying down student debt and saving for a house. So how much would they, so you're going to have to figure out, like, okay, so it says they're splitting the savings portion, which is 20%, towards saving down the house evenly. So if they're going to split that 20%, they're going to go 10%, 10%. 10% on savings towards the house, 10% on the debt. So how much would they save per month per the house? You're going to have to figure out 10% of this number. Okay? How long will it take them to save $30,000 for a home down payment? We'll take this number that you got here. Okay? See how many times you have to save that, how many months until you get to 30,000. Okay, so then the next one is an interactive. You're going to click on this link. Okay, it's loading. Okay, let me just read the directions again. You're going to, so 50% to your need, towards needs, 30% towards wants, 20% for savings and debt repayment. That sounds easy, right? Anybody could pull it off, right? Here are a few examples of hypothetical but realistic families that would struggle with this strategy. Scroll through the interactive, reading as long as you go, and then select one pathway in the take a look at a typical American section and learn, how does this add up? So you're going to have to say, which household did you choose? Let's see. This talks about the guideline. Okay, so here's our 3 households that we have. Married couple with 2 children, single adult male, single mother with 1 child. So you select, you could see they have the median income, how much they pay a month or after taxes. So just pick whichever one, speaks to you. And then review the section. How does this add up? What is the pain point for this household? What would you recommend for a household that cannot make 50, 30, 20 work? So I just want to see that you're thinking about this and you're actively answering the questions along with the interactive, okay? All right, so then the next activity, 15 money saving strategies that will teach you how to save money. Actually, on the quiz, they give you lots of articles that you can look at for money saving strategies. Okay. So I think this link is just one link, but the quiz has lots of links for money saving strategies. Let's see, did this article actually work? I don't think that link actually worked, which is probably why they changed it on the quiz. Okay, yeah, that link doesn't actually work. So just click on the links that are on the quiz. Okay, just read through them, and you want to find 3 strategies from any of the links on the quiz. Okay, and you're going to summarize the strategy in 1 to 2 sentences. You're going to describe why it works. So let me show you what the quiz looks like. And I'll scroll down to those questions so you can see how they set it up on the quiz. I got to skip ahead a lot, though. Annoyingly. We already talked about this. We talked about this. We talked about this. Find the quiz question. Nope. That was the scenario. There we go. Okay. So here are all the links. So they found some other links. Okay. Click on just read through a bunch of them and then find 3. So summarize the strategy in 1 to 2 sentences. Why does this strategy work? What type of spender saver would this strategy work for? I want to see all 3 answers. Don't just say, this was this one, and then you didn't answer the rest of the questions. I'm just going to not give you points for that question if you don't actually answer the question, okay? You have to do that three times. Which of these strategies you just researched do you think would work best for you personally? Explain why. All right, so then we get into the equations. So let me go down here to the last part, the math connection. So for each scenario, we're going to write a linear equation to model what's happening and then solve the equation to answer the question. Melody has $50 in savings account right now. She wants to save $250 for a Taylor Swift concert ticket. She figures she can save $20 a week from her part-time job. Write an equation to model her savings account after X weeks. So, like many of the equations that we've worked with before, your input is time, so X weeks, and it's $20 a week. So you're going to multiply 20 times X, and then we're going to add to that what she already has saved, which is $50. And that's going to give some output where y could be the total saved. How long will it take to afford the ticket? Well, we can take the y and turn it into 250. And then you can solve this equation. Okay, so you want to solve that equation to get this part. Solve for x. All right. And then the next one's kind of the same, okay? After a really rough winter, Christoph can't afford to fix his sled until he has $7,000 saved. Wow, what kind of a sled is this? Every month, his take-home pay is $2,500. He uses the 50-30-20 rule to determine how much he'll spend and save. So if we're going to use the 50-30-20 rule, we need to figure out like savings would be, well, is this a need or a want? Or is it a savings? I think it's just we're going to do savings, right? We're saving stuff. Okay, yeah, so 20%. So first you want to think about, okay, what is 20% of 2,500? Then we can write an equation. So he's going to save whatever amount you get. That's how much he's going to save per month. That's the number that's going to go in front of X. And then we can answer the question, how long will it be before he can get his sled fixed if he already has $900 in the bank? So if he already has $900, then he only needs 7,000 minus 900. He still needs 6,100. So you need to figure out how many months that's going to take. Okay, and then Raven is starting with absolutely no savings, but she wants an emergency fund of $10,000. So an emergency fund is where you are, if you get laid off, you still need to pay the rent until you find another job. You set up an emergency fund or a rainy day fund to protect you so that you're not like homeless or whatever. Like you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, as they say. Okay, so anyways, she wants to save $10,000 by the end of her first year at her new job. How much will she need to save per month in order to meet that savings goal? So 12 months in a year? We're talking about a year. Okay. So you're going to want to take that amount and divide it by 12. All right. What would Raven's take-home pay need to be in order for the monthly savings target to represent 20% of her pay? So you got to figure out what 20% of her pay is. wait, no, we want that, wait, let me read it again. I read that wrong. We don't know what her take-home pay is. That's the question. What would Raven's take-home pay need to be in order for the monthly savings target to be, okay, so the monthly savings, you find this number, that needs to be 20%, okay? So that number should be 20%, or 20 out of 100, okay, out of her total pay. So this is the amount she's savings. She saves that each month, divided by the thing we're looking for is equal to 20 out of 100. So you can do a little equation, cross multiply to solve for that, okay? All right, I think that pretty much covers the quiz. I'll be back on Monday, and then if you have questions, we can go over it, okay?